We know each other for many years. You've been active in smart mobility roles and always prompting innovation. Can you say a bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. I didn't start at mobile in transportation at all. I started a different area. I studied at Technion, an aerospace engineer, and from there I went to the Air Force and then to the Ministry of Defense. Um, from there, actually, I get to the Ministry of Transportation, and then I saw that the area of smart mobility and mobility in general is a very, very interesting one. And I stayed there. I was the 4 years in the Ministry of Transportation. I was in charge of big projects like the Red Line in Tel Aviv and the train to Jerusalem. And from there, I went back to my comfort zone, technology, and I founded the strategy and innovation division in Netivei Israel, which is the biggest road company in Israel and government-owned company in Israel. And that's my job now, VP Strategy and Innovation in Netivei Israel.
It has been quite a year for all the world. Last year in Ecomotion 2020, you spoke of your plans in Netivei Israel for the coming year. Will you remind us a bit what you discussed back then?
So last year, Ecomotion was supposed to be our big day. We would just have founded the division, and we were supposed to launch it on the main event in the Ecomotion week. And then there was COVID-19, and we need to change our plans. So all Ecomotion became virtual, and together with the Ecomotion community, we decided to change the way we launch our division, and we set few challenges. This is how we started. Since then, this beginning with bringing the community challenges became one of our main ways to innovate in Netivei Israel. We saw that this is a very effective way of solving problems that we deal with and getting to know what the market has to offer us. So thank you, Ecomotion, for that.
So let's drill down into that bit for a second. So you're in a public sector company and you're implementing open innovation. There's nothing trivial about that statement. Maybe let's talk for a second of what is the main challenge for an open innovation implementation in the public sector?
Well, while being in the public sector, you're using public money, and that's why you have to be on the safe side, let's say, of using this money right, getting a good or the best value for money. And that's why we have the tender law here in Israel. We have to make it equal and fairly how to buy and to use the public money. When writing this law, no one thought of innovation. No one thought of buying new technologies. And when there is a lot of unknowns and you cannot clarify exactly what you want to buy. So we have a great deal with it, but we think we find ways how to deal with it. We're still dealing with it all the time. We kind of just using this law. The main reason for it that we want to have the best value for money for the public money, but we change the way we decide how we buy or how we pay to the different companies, and we're trying to win the bureaucracy of it. It's not easy, but we are starting to succeed with it, I think.
This is fascinating because what you're saying is that the tender law is there for a reason. We want the public money to be used in the right way.
I think for a good reason.
Yes, but the fact there is a tender law doesn't mean you cannot use it in the right way to incorporate innovation.
Yeah, I think you have to have innovative ways to deal with it. But I think we are the public. It's our money. And we want the public company and the public sector to use it well. So we need to keep it, but to have new ways of how you use it and how you obey it. And we're putting a lot of effort with it, together with all our regulators. So the company will have an open innovation, because we have to have it these days. We cannot innovate in other ways.
Maybe we'll use an example to explain. Can you give an example of how you used open innovation? What was the method you used, and what were the outcomes for implementing open innovation?
I'll try to. Usually, when writing a tender, you write what you want to buy. You write, in fact, the solution after you thought what you want, and you say, I want one of this and one of that, and I want this service and that service. And then you write a tender, and you have points for price and quality, and there is a winner. What we did last year, and that's what we aim to do in the future, we changed the way we think, and in the tender, we write our challenge, our problem, and not the way to solve it, and not the solution for it. So in the tender, if you read the tender, you will understand what is our problem, what will be the way you solve it. Let's say if we think that we want to see the bridge status, so we will say in the tender what will be the parameters, the relevant parameters for us to understand the bridge status. But we will not say how you get to these parameters, how you will see the status, how you will check it, if you have to do it with a drone or with a standing camera or whatever. And in this way, we allow different technologies and different approach to go in, to be part of the tender, to let us understand that there is a different ways to solve the same problem. Besides that, we were used to contract with big companies, asking for a lot of insurance bureaucracy and etc. And this is a little thing that we did, but it makes a big difference. We cleared our contracts, so it will be invited also for little companies, technology companies who is not regular of doing business with us. We make our contracts short and very clear. So technology companies and startups will be ready to make business with us.
It's actually quite mind-blowing to think of a huge company, an infrastructure company that is able to communicate directly with small technology companies. Did you get to a situation where you were surprised by a solution? So you posted a challenge, you had something in mind, and then wow, something completely different came in.
Yeah, we try to challenge the market for helping us understand the status of the line marks. You know, the white and yellow one, and we thought that the way we do it, it's not enough, and we thought that maybe Mobileye and Nexar using the dash cam and cameras can help us, and this was not a surprise. But we sure is surprised that one of the startups used an aerial photo, analyzing it with an AI, and give us the status of the line marks, maybe a little better than the other companies, but it was really mind blowing. We didn't thought of it at all, that we can do it from an airplane and using these pictures for analyzing pictures that we already have because we are having aerial shots all the time for knowing what's the status of our landmarks.
Wow.
So it was one of the good surprise.
Yeah, and that's it? You found that that's the winner for the tender and now you're working just with that? This is how it's going?
No, it's in this specific, it was a challenge. So we have 4 different demonstrations. And in this area of landmarks, we just understand that we will not have one solution. We should change the way we look at how we maintain our landmarks. And now we have more tools to use it in a different situation because we have a very big road system, more than 8,000 kilometers of roads. We cannot have one solution that can deal with every aspect of the system. So we understand that we have to have diverse tools. So we have another tool that we didn't think about, and it will help us in a different situation that we have. But it surely examines how we don't have any idea of how the market sees it and how, if you just say your problems, creative people will bring you very creative solutions for that.
Yeah, wow, this is a great story. So, so you say you've transitioned from find me something that solves this in this way to defining the challenge. Is this something that is just you? This is you defining the challenge, or is it something in the DNA of the company that is changing?
It's not me defining the problem. It's my colleagues in the other divisions, the maintenance division and the development division, and the other divisions of the company. But it's me in charge of changing the way they speak. It's a process. We're still on it. There's some people of the company who are already very trained on it and just calling me with their problems. And there is still other engineers that we need to work with them on it. They came to us asking for solutions, and then we, together with them, trying to define what is the problem they want to solve. And it's a process, and it's still, I cannot say it's the DNA of the company, but we are on our way to that. And this is part of my goals, so that the company DNA will be defining problems and letting innovation in, and using the market wisdom to help us doing our job better.
Wow, this is definitely innovation in process. Are you seeing this happening, maybe influencing even other public sector companies that are working in your path?
I think so. Netivei Israel is a very big public company. So it's just happening that we are influencing others, but we are working also very closely with our regulators. We have a few of them. One of them is the Israel Authority of all the government-owned companies. So together with them, we are trying to understand what is working for us and what can work for other companies. And we are sharing knowledge and sharing ways of doing stuff. I have to say that we are learning a lot from the other companies like IEC and Mekorot and other companies who are succeeding in bringing in innovation also in their own ways. And there is a knowledge sharing, and I think that we are going in the good direction with that.
Great, great. I would say maybe as a startup, you have this image of this huge company, public sector. It's like a huge block and bureaucracy and everything. Were you able to change it? Did you do any sort of change internally that reflects for startups or innovators that you are open to discussing with them?
As we spoke about the Tender law, there is good reasons for us to be bureaucracy. The bureaucracy is there for a reason, and we should keep this reason. We should not forget it. You don't want Native Israel, which is using a lot of public money, will be very fast and very how you say it in English. You want us to make good decisions with the money and with the things we are using it. It's safety and it's a public money, and we have a lot of reason to be very minded to what we are doing, but you can still do it and have the ways to work with little companies and startups and to innovate. You have to balance between your willing to be low bureaucracy and very fast, and to take decisions right for the company, for the public's good. But you want to be open, and you want to hear all the time, and you want to see and give a way to the market to let you know what's going on. And this is why we have 2 hours a week that everyone can apply us for an half an hour pitch about whatever they want. We don't ask what's the subject, and we don't decide if it's okay or not. So every Wednesday morning, we have 2 hours, 4 pitches. I can say that this is the 2 remarkable hours of my week. Sometimes it's very interesting, but it's not useful. But sometimes it is very useful for me. So I invite you all using these hours to come, to let us know what you've got, to let us understand what you have to offer. And then we will go back to the usual routine, because as I said, we have to be equal and fairly to all of the market players.
But this is something that really cannot be overrated. Having an open door to just asking about your value proposition, if it's good for the company, maybe shaping it with you. This is something that really all startups and innovators should jump at, this opportunity. So inviting you right now to talk to Hilla.
You're welcome.
Hilla, just to conclude, so what are your future plans next year when we meet? What are you
we want to go to the next step, to the next level. And the next level for this year will be gathering a lot of technologies and trying to open a little window to the road of 2030, how it will look like. So we are with a joint venture of the Israel Living Lab, going to do a big project in the road number 2 in the northern entrance to the Tel Aviv metropolitan. We will put on this road section a lot of technologies in order to see what is the synergic between them, to understand when all these technologies will be mature enough, how will the road of 2030 will look like for the different decision makers, the road authority, the public transportation authority, how we will use the road, and how we will use the data, and which kind of sensors we will need then, and what is the value of each technology when looking of all of it together. So this will be the next step for next year, and I hope that next year we'll sit here and we'll speak about how it was an amazing project, or what we've learned from it.
Oh, definitely. Looking forward already. And hopefully we'll do it face to face in the same space.
Yeah.
So
it
Hilla,
will be
thank you.
Great.
Thank you very much for this. It's really interesting learning on what you do and how you do it. And I think you're leading a revolution, hoping to see its results in the near future.
Thank you for the time, and thank you for the Ecomotion community, which has a big part of our success in doing it.